Hi there, it's time to look at AVAX through the Wyckoff lens as to where it is at and where it's going. Here are the 3 key items that I will cover during the session. So let's start with the weekly chart of Avalanche. So AVAX, after almost 7 consecutive weeks of drop, there were intermittent pauses. It finally seems to get for a pretty good start, I would say, for this week, looking at the candlestick body as of this moment. Of course, it's still too early to tell whether this leg is finally over, because if we look across to the left, what happened in October 2023, the spring ended up way lower. Okay, it ended at around $8.8. All right, this selling climax was actually at around the same level that we have seen for our cycle in April. Okay, at around $14. And eventually, subsequent tests went even deeper. Okay, we may be just at the middle or late stage of the accumulation, so more may come. So while we celebrate a little bit of rebound, look at what happened over here. Even after sign of strengths, it can come back down to the very low point near the bottom of the long-term playground zone, and eventually, took another dip before the actual climax or the new distribution cycle comes in. Okay, that's how the I would say the people that has control, or the composite man, plays the game. Okay, how we play our games is on us, but I'm showing you how this game are being played by them, so they can test multiple times, going deeper and deeper, just to check out the number of people they want to before they actually pushes the price up, and then when we get to those levels, they are already out, and that's what left, to the people that got in late. All right, so while we are expecting a spring to appear, okay, not knowing how deep it can go yet, these are the key levels that the price of AVAX may find support. 12.20, the blue key level. All right, that's the one immediately after the purple, 14.05, where the current trade is finding resistance. Okay, so if it range bound between the blue and the purple, it's still kind of a neutral sign that it may pick up and have a more significant rebound. Significant when I say it may go back to the yellow key level of around $29.30, because that was where the last sign of strength, the first sign of strength of this year was. And the second sign of strength went all the way to 33.9, the green key level. All right, so 20%, 25% chance we said it would happen. It's already happening. So it's confirmed. It's just how deep it can go. Showing another sign of strength and backup and support. I would say that's 50% unchanged. This shouldn't be 25. This should also be somewhere along the line following this. As of now, it's 50, I would say, but it doesn't add to this one. The other 50 goes to more tests. Okay, meaning it trades sideways somewhere between the purple key level of 14.05 and the orange key level of 22.6. That's where the other 50% goes to. All right. And now let's get to the daily chart. And here, this downtrend continues. All right. So from the original uptrend started from near the end of this September, we have a downtrend going on, and as of now, the price is actually trading at a very narrow range. If I were to draw a center line for this air hockey table or the channel box, this means what happened today, okay? After 2 days of finding support over here, it's trying to not only challenge the purple key level of around $14, but also get back to this triangle where by the end of this month or beginning of December, the first 2 days, there is a chance to break outside of this downtrend. Okay, so when the price hits the ceiling of this box, it's going to confirm whether it's going to continue with the downtrend or is it going to change the trend. Alright, so it's not a short-term trend. It's not too short, let's put it this way, because I just mentioned the downtrend actually started back in September. So it's almost actually already 2 months in. It started September 19th. We're 5 days over 2 months. Okay, so in terms of the daily Wyckoff tags, okay, again, this is not designed for daily, but let's have fun with it. If the previous period over here was only just the preliminary support, we may be seeing the selling climax. It all depends on how the next few days develops. Okay, if today the remaining 5 hours is suddenly drop back, and tomorrow, the day after, it turns red, then maybe we haven't seen the selling climax yet. However, if it pops up to challenge the red or even goes outside of the channel, that may be a sign of automatic rally. Alright, it's still too early to tell, like I said. Last time when it happened, it looks like that. Okay, after the long leg of drop, that's what we expect, a more horizontal or sideways trading during the accumulation. We have to go back to the very left, 2022, to look at this kind of level between the blue and the purple. Alright, initially it traded sideways, and then it did a shakeout, dipping all the way to the white, and then quickly climbed to challenge the orange key level. So even, look at this period, December 22, Jan to Feb 2023. That was in the daily, an accumulation, and then immediately a distribution. But in the weekly, that was only this thing over here, just a deeper test, and then back to sign of strength. Okay, so that's why don't mix up the daily and the weekly. Weekly is more experimental, and the tags I put in a lot of times won't be in sync with the weekly. So if you find it a little bit challenging to follow, I would suggest you focus on the weekly chart first. Once you get familiar with the tags, you see why I'm experimenting this way in the daily charts. Alright, so that's for AVAX for today. Obviously, we're expecting more tests to come, and finger crossed for everybody, whichever project you're supporting. This is the time that's testing everybody's patience. See you in another session.